So today, the only thing I can talk to you about is the House bill, what's in it, what's not in it, and answer your questions. And that's why I'm here today to do. Let me introduce Ken Massey to you. Ken has a story that is typical, I think, of thousands of people in this district and across this country. And I think it tells us the need to do something here. And Ken, I thank you for having the courage to do this, and I appreciate you coming out. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm 52 years old. About 2.5 years ago, I had back surgery. During the process of the healing, things didn't heal right. 6 months later, they found out I was diabetic. We got the diabetes under control through meds, but being off work as long as I had at that point, my insurance was gone from my job. Unable to get back to work, I applied for Illinois Medicaid. Went through about 3, maybe 4 months before I was actually approved. Then I was only approved because of the fact that it took too long for my application to get processed. I had it for approximately 6 months, then I lost it again. Then I reapplied a few months down the road, got it again for 2 months, lost it again. I've got several medical conditions, and I know there's a lot of people out there that do, but there's some meds I can't even afford to go and get. The 2 meds that I do take are on the $4 list at Walmart. The rest of them are $20, $30, $50, $120, a couple $100 a piece. And like most Americans out there, we don't have that kind of money. My wife works. She brings home about $1,200 a month. And if we was to get any kind of medical insurance at this point, where she works at, it would cost her $150 a month for insurance for the both of us. $150 a month doesn't sound like a lot, but when it cuts into your food, your utilities, your house payment. We lost our house last November. We're in a mobile home, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a fine place to live. But without the medical help, we're sitting out in the middle of an island in a boat just waiting for a hole to take place. I've applied for Social Security disability 2.5 years ago, shortly after the surgery, when they told me that I would not be able to work again. A judge told me that I was lying, that I wasn't disabled, though there were written statements from doctors stating I was. So now I'm sitting in an appeal session for over a year now, still waiting for somebody to step up and lend a hand. I don't want a handout. I just want, what I feel as an American is rightfully mine at this point. I paid my taxes all the way up until the time when I had my surgery and I couldn't work anymore. And there's not just myself, but there's other people I know that are in the same boat or even worse shape than I'm in. And Congressman Hare's office has been working with me for the last 1.5 years, helping push things and get things going for me to hopefully get this settled, and I can get my disability, and I won't need the Medicare. I wouldn't need Medicaid. I'd be able to afford it at that point because, again, I'd have 2 incomes coming in, which is what my wife and I have had when we raised our kids, and up until the surgery. And I just, thought this would be a great opportunity to come out, because I've been watching a lot of these forums on TV, and everybody's screaming and yelling, and that's not getting us anywhere. We need somebody that's going to get in there, fight for us. And I personally believe that that's what Congressman Hare's been doing. I know his office has worked well with me. They've helped me. They've given me ideas. They've put me in touch with assistance programs that I can apply for on an annual basis to help me with some utility bills, things like this. Without these little programs, there's a lot of people out there that would be living out on the street. And I thought that was going to happen to me at one point here not too long ago. And somebody said to me just today, everybody out there is only 1 paycheck away from where I'm at right now. the rate things are going in our society, and we're all just one paycheck away from being in situations.
There is specific language written in this law that says you must be a legal resident of the United States to qualify. You must be, or you cannot qualify under the bill. Been asked about federal funds for abortion. No federal funds under this bill. We already have the Hyde Amendment, which we didn't need other amendments in the bill to prohibit the federal government from paying tax dollars for abortions, because the Hyde Amendment supersedes all of that. And so therefore, under this bill, that really is not germane, because you already have existing federal law that covers it. So, is this bill perfect? No. Is this bill, and people have said, why the rush? And I will tell you from my perspective, we've talked about health care reform off and on since Harry Truman was president of the United States. 15 years ago, an effort was made to try to get health care reform. Tremendous pushback. And today, the same thing. There is a lot of conflicting things going on out there, and I don't blame people for being angry, and I don't blame people for being confused, because I am. It's very difficult for a member of Congress to come here and say, I couldn't tell you what the Senate's doing, but I can't. So, irregardless of what comes out of the House if this bill passes, it's going to be different, because we're going to go into what's called a conference committee. And I wish I could sit here today and tell you what I think that would be. But let me tell you some of the myths and then close. There was a proposal by the other side of the aisle, I'm not being partisan, but during the hearing, to take the VA and move it into this. Over my dead body, the VA has just received an increase under our budget, the highest in the 70-year history of the VA. I am not going to put clinics like the one in Quincy and the Iowa City Hospital and others and put the VA and mold it into this, because quite candidly, while the VA is not a perfect entity, you take a look at the veterans that use these clinics and ask them what they think of the care they're getting. And it's very, very good, by and large. No, not perfect. Nothing's perfect, but by and large, we owe our veterans everything, from my perspective, and to remotely even consider it. I told one of the members from Georgia who proposed that, I said, well, I'd like you to come to my district and go to a few legions of VFWs with me and talk about that, and when you do, I'd like you to wear your goalie outfit, because you're going to need it. Because I don't think the veterans in my district are going to be really happy about having their health care melted in. The last thing I just want to emphasize to all of you, the speed of this that we keep hearing about. We are in a crisis. I went to the floor of the House of Representatives when the other side was doing what's called 1 minute, and they had charts up, and I couldn't understand it, and they knew that nobody could, and it was really basically done to make sure everybody got thoroughly confused on it. Mission accomplished. But I went to the floor and said, look, I opened up a piece of paper and I said, I don't have a chart. I have a piece of paper with some figures, and let me just give them to you. And then I said, then I'll go back to my office. I said, well, and then some of them were thinking this was funny. And I said, we're going to go home for about 37 days on a break. We're going to have town hall meetings. I'm going to have them. I'm going to get hollered at. Everybody gets hollered at, goes with the turf. But I will tell you, during the day, in every congressional district in this country, 435 congressional districts in this country, every day that we are in recess, 35 people in my district are going to die because they don't have health care. 1,190 people are going to lose their health care. 910 people are going to have to file for medical bankruptcy if we don't pass this bill. 82,000 people, if we can insure them, will be insured in my district.